Nick Saban could take over Silicon Valley tomorrow. 11 SEC championships, 7 national championship titles. Nick Saban could come to Silicon Valley, show up at the door, be let in immediately, and shown the red carpet. Every big investment firm, Nick Saban could compete because he leads with force. That guy does not stop. Nick Saban has the complete ability to recruit anyone he wants for any role position he wants. There's some shit on the table here on a platter waiting for you. You have a chance to rewrite history here. Let's go, baby. It's another episode of the Athletes and Assets podcast. I'm your host, Noah Lack, and I bring on your favorite athletes to chat about a business topic. But today, I needed an emergency pod. I needed to come on here solo dolo and talk my shit because there's something that's been on my mind that no one else is going to cover if I don't come on here and say it. And let me drop the bomb immediately. Let's just go right into it because this is what we do here. We skip the small talk. If Nick Saban wanted to, Nick Saban could take over Silicon Valley tomorrow if he wanted to. So why did I feel this burning desire to talk about this? Well, you know, there's been a sort of a change in sports right now. A lot of the coaches are starting to get really older and are leaving. Bill Belichick, I see within the next 5 years, even though Wemby's on the Spurs, Greg Popovich could be well on his way out of the door. But you're seeing a lot of these, you know, Coach K left a couple years ago, Jim Boeheim from Syracuse. You got all these big time coaches we grew up watching gone, man. It's the end of an era right now. And it's kind of crazy because, you know, you could blame NIL, you know, for in a professional coach's case, that's not what's going on, but you could blame NIL. But I truly think these guys are just getting older and they don't want to deal with that shit. No one wants to put up bidding in the transfer portal market for someone on $500,000. They were going to pay them that anyways, but like it's too much work. They're more general managing than coaching. And I think a lot of coaches are quietly fed up with that. You have to adapt with the times. I think a lot of these coaches I named have done a great job of doing so, including Nick Saban. I mean, Nick Saban was complaining a lot about NIL, and when he was going back and forth with Jimbo Fisher, I thought that was like the most beautiful NIL popcorn we could possibly have to start out this wild era in college athletics. But anyways, I was sitting on the couch, you know, with this Patagonia jacket. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe, by the way. If you're watching on YouTube or on Spotify, and you see this Patagonia jacket, I'm here in San Francisco in the tech hub of the universe here at Founders Inc., which is a startup incubator for tech companies. And my media-faced ass is here recording this podcast thinking that Nick Saban, if he wanted to, could completely disrupt this entire region if he wanted to. If he wanted to start his own venture capital fund, he could do that tomorrow. First of all, let's talk about Nick Saban and why I think like this. We have to, for you guys who watch the podcast, to give you some context here, we're talking about a 4-time SEC Coach of the Year. SEC is the best football conference by far in college sports. 7-time National Coach of the Year. Saban held an 80% win percentage in the SEC, spent 109 weeks as number 1 in the AP poll, totaling more weeks than any program in AP poll history. Basically, the dude is like number 1 more than he's not number 1. That's how I paraphrase that. You know, Nick Saban won 11. This is the main thing here. 11 SEC championships, 7 national championship titles. 11 SEC championships, 7 national championship titles. What the hell? This is arguably one of the greatest coaches in sports history. Saban earned about $120 million, according to a very valid report, and over his tenure at Alabama, not devoid in cash. Saban also had a business effect on the university that is like the standard for, I'm sure, what every other university in the country wants to see. Because you know what? Sports, you know, this is a business-focused podcast, but like sports is the front porch of a university. It just is. And Saban the enrollment rates at Alabama skyrocketed to 60% since Saban's arrival. In 2017, the University of Alabama reported around 25,000 students, give or take undergrad. Maybe there's some dudes, hillbilly dudes that dropped out or, in and out. We don't know. 25K is a fair estimate. But it's clear as day. By 2015, nearly 37,000 students were enrolled. And so in 2023, Alabama then topped that with 39K. Like Saban literally he's increased enrollment by Alabama just by being the coach and winning. And the business impact on Saban, is incredible and probably not properly measured what I just said there. I envision a world where Alabama nearly doubles enrollment because of the Saban effect, because of this reputation. Alabama's built as a football school. Not to mention, ticket prices at Alabama nearly doubled by 37%. Inflation sucks, but if it's for Nick Saban, it's worth it. It's worth it. You'll take that. You'll take the 37% ticket sale increase. So what now? Saban is retired from football, but here's the thing. He's not done working. Some people may say, he'll take an NFL job or he was going to look somewhere else. I think that actually the most realistic thing is ESPN. I think ESPN really wants Nick Saban. I think Nick Saban is not opposed to TV. He's been on TV many times. He's lived in this social media era like Saban is constantly in front of the media. It feels like a natural transition. Feels like the standard thing. But on this, we're not standard here though. We're not standard. I'm going to throw something out to you guys. Is Nick Saban ever going to move to the Bay Area? Probably fucking not. Dude's from Alabama. He probably is, a conservative. He loves the South. The South loves him. He's a Bible Belt guy. I doubt he would move, if anywhere, he'd move to LA because of media versus just coming here to Silicon Valley. But if there was ever a scenario where someone could show Saban the light, by the way, let's get this guy out of the damn frame. Anyways, but if there was ever a scenario where Saban would consider making an impact in Silicon Valley, even not physically being here, it would be one of the smartest things a coach has done after he's done with his success in coaching. Why? Why would Nick Saban have an impact? Why do I think Nick Saban would have an impact here in Silicon Valley? Well, we're at a turning point where everyone you talk to just shits on Silicon Valley and San Francisco. When I say Silicon Valley, I mean San Francisco and the towns below it that support and fund the tech ecosystem. Palo Alto, you've heard of. Sunnyvale, Cupertino. This is where the tech giants are, right? Apple, Google, NVIDIA. Just every big tech company has a presence here in Silicon Valley, and the things that are the byproduct of it, new startups, new tech startups. Who's funding those? Venture capital firms, the wealth management firms that support the immense wealth that's made here. San Francisco is still one of the wealthiest cities on the planet, even though everyone in the whole world thinks it's gone to shit and it's like a third world country apocalypse. There's some valid points in that, but look, I'm in a nice shiny studio recording this. It can't be that bad, and it's beautiful outside. So Silicon Valley, the Bay Area is not like maybe his destination, but it's a place he can make an impact because it's a place ripe for disruption. We're at a turning point where the term Silicon Valley is like a term, right? Rather than physical location. It's it's Silicon Valley. It's just like the meaning of the transitioning. I can be anywhere and feel like I'm in Silicon Valley mode because of my efforts investing or building in tech. And Nick Saban, with his career, assuming he knew nothing about venture capital, could raise a damn fund tomorrow and be one of the top, most sought after firms in Silicon Valley. Here's why. One, brand. Nick Saban's brand is one of class, depending on who you ask. Maybe Auburn doesn't think that, but I think he's built an incredibly reputable, strong brand that will translate to anywhere he works into. And by the way, I want to reiterate the point. He's still going to frickin' work. He's going to work after he's done playing, because you know why? Even though he's made all the money he can possibly make, he got children and he's got grandchildren. He's 72. He's got a good more 10 years in him or more. I mean, that guy doesn't stop. That guy does not stop. And we found that like one of the oldest people in the world loves Diet Coke, and Nick Saban drinks Diet Coke. I'm not saying that's correlated to his longevity, but we should also I'm a big put everything on the table kind of guy. So we're going to put that on the table. Diet Coke. Anyways, Nick Saban's brand is very reputable. People will immediately respect him. There's no one on this planet who would not take a call from Nick Saban except maybe someone at Auburn. Nick Saban could come here and we'd feel his presence. Nick Saban could come to Silicon Valley, show up at the door of a tier 1 venture firm, Andreessen Horowitz, Sequoia, no planned advance notice, be let in immediately and shown the red carpet. Without a startup founder really understanding football, Alabama, college sports, maybe they're building in B2B, maybe they're building in some AI vertical that has nothing to do with sports, like government tech or prop tech, or maybe someone's trying to build the next Web3 developer system that people are like, well, that shit's not going to work. And then that person's like, well, no, it's going to work. Well, that the jury's still out on that, by the way. I don't side to any side on Web3. Actually, I think it's not going anywhere. I do side with it. I think Web3 is here to stay in some capacity. Nick Saban could go to a Web3 founder and they'd feel his presence. They would be like, you know what? I can read enough to see these. That's a lot of championships. That guy might know something. I'd put that guy on my cap table. I'd give him a chance. And when I say give him a chance, like, hell yeah, I'd take his money. Okay? I think Nick Saban's brand transcends sports, as well as other coaches. Jim Harbaugh, Coach Mike Krzyzewski. You're telling me you wouldn't take Coach K's call if he was interested in investing in your company? Bullshit. Coach K, I'd give him equity in my company. Name your terms. Name your terms. Nick Saban, name your terms. This leads into this little overlap here, but the second point I want to make is Saban leads with force, man. You know, if Saban's on your cap table, you got to make things happen, and you're going to be accountable, and he's going to push you to new heights and make you think about things that you haven't even pondered, considered. You're going to take that call and you're going to listen to him because it's Nick Saban. You're going to listen to him. You're going to listen to Coach K if he calls you. You're going to listen to Coach Boeheim if he calls you. You know what I mean? And gives you and asks you, where's the direction of the company? How do you feel things are going? Do you feel like you're allocating your funding correctly? Where do you see yourself in the next 6, 8, 12, 18 months? Nick Saban leads with force, and I think you could feel that. You would feel that in Silicon Valley. And I think the tier 1 firms would be not only respectful, but intimidated if he decided to raise a venture fund and allocate those dollars and just start competing with every big investment firm. Nick Saban could compete because he leads with force. He's one of those guys where I would be intimidated being around him, even if he never laid a finger on me, even if he's the nicest guy. I feel his force. I feel his force through those interviews. Nick Saban got asked about the QB situation a couple years ago, and I knew this is how I felt about him after he answered. He's like, you want me to say something bad about my quarterbacks? Well, it ain't gonna happen, so quit asking.
All right, so why do you continually try to get me to say something that doesn't respect one of them? I'm not going to, so quit asking.
And like, just this little cranky snippet of Nick Saban, like force, man. He leads with force. He speaks with force. When he says something, he means it. And so I think that translates really well, constructing this ability out of thin air to create an incredibly successful venture capital fund in Silicon Valley. I think that's a tough bridge there, but I'm going to make that connection. I'm going to connect the two because he leads with force, and the Valley would feel that. Next point, why do I think Nick Saban would crush it in Silicon Valley? Well, obviously he can't invest in things by himself. He would need to build, he would have to recruit partners. And this is where I think the difference is made. Nick Saban has proven on like any other level, the ability has proven on an unprecedented level, the ability to recruit and maintain talent. Talent. The ability to recruit. As the head honcho of an investment fund, as the CEO of a company, you are equally judged on the talent you put around you just as much as your ability. And Nick Saban could, I have no doubt in my mind, Nick Saban could poach some of the top partners, investment partners from institutional funds around Silicon Valley super easily. I'm saying it right now. I'm saying it. Nick Saban could recruit your partner that you're working with as a startup founder to help run his fund as another managing partner. You can't do it by yourself. You need great talent around you. And this has been done before. It's been done before. Please go on the Athletes and Assets YouTube channel, go on the shorts, or go on our Instagram and look at our video of Joe Montana that we made. Joe Montana is one of the greatest quarterbacks in NFL history and is arguably now putting together a portfolio that will put him on a track record as a top 100 venture capitalist. Why? Because his ability to recruit. Michael Ma is a partner at Liquid 2 whose company got acquired by Google. Okay, you have Ron Conway as an advisor, one of the best angel investors in Silicon Valley's history. You have Mike Miller, another general partner at Liquid 2, Yale University graduate, co-founded Cloudant, which is now IBM Cloud Data Services at MIT, was another YC company. Michael Ma was in Y Combinator, the best startup accelerator in the world. Mike Miller was the same. His company was acquired by IBM in 2014. Joe Montana recruited some of the very best talent and people to help run Liquid 2, and it pays off. It will pay off in the millions and billions. So Joe Montana went from football as a quarterback, but nevertheless, football, sports, to being an elite venture capitalist. Please go on our Instagram, our YouTube, even our LinkedIn, and check out the 60-second doc we did on Joe Montana. You will not regret it. And so Nick Saban, this ability to recruit and delegate, this is essential, and it is exactly why I think he could be better at it than even people who have been in this industry for over a decade. Nick Saban has the complete ability to recruit anyone he wants for any role, position he wants. If you don't think he can, are you out of your mind? You think I'm out of my mind for even talking about this crazy topic? Are you out of your mind if you think Nick Saban can't recruit the very best talent in the Bay Area? You'd be crazy to think that he couldn't do that tomorrow. In line with that, right? The ability to delegating tasks. Nick Saban's coaching tree is phenomenal. Nick Saban has placed so many coaches under his tutelage in other college jobs, in the NFL. There's a whole tree. And I won't go here and list out the whole tree because I want to keep you attentive to the podcast. I don't want to bore you to sleep on how many coaches Nick Saban has placed, how many coaches have worked under Nick Saban and now work at an elite institution or professional sports program. Football. Nick Saban. 7 national championships, 1 at LSU, the other 6 were at Alabama. Those coaches reap the rewards, but they couldn't do that if Nick Saban didn't delegate. Nick Saban, yes, he's probably very controlling on all parts of the offense, the defense, the special teams, the recruiting, the boosters, managing the boosters, the operations, even like recovery and the weight room, things that a strength coach should be able to just take over and run. Nick Saban, I know he has his hands in everything. With that being said, the man can delegate. And so you have to trust when you're investing in a vertical you're completely unfamiliar with. With Nick Saban, maybe most of them would be unfamiliar. I mean, the ability to believe in the guys that you recruit, the partners that you recruit, for them to be able to make those decisions with autonomy and clarity and not feeling like someone is, breathing down the shoulder. I think Nick Saban could delegate very successfully here. And so you have like the ability to recruit and you have the ability to delegate. I think those things go hand in hand. I think Nick Saban checks that box. Okay. Lastly, and this is the big one. What the hell does Nick Saban know about tech? What the hell does Nick Saban know about tech? Okay. This is like the question, right? Like, what the hell? My strongest argument here, because there's a lot against me, but I'm going to give you an argument. I'm going to put up a fight. That's one thing I'm going to do. I'm going to put up a fight. I don't have this Patagonia jacket on for no reason, trying to defend the whole tech thing. Alabama, even though they didn't win a national championship post NIL era, still was pretty damn close. In fact, they were still a top 3 college football program post NIL. I know we're early in the NIL era. It became legal in July of 2021. Alabama's last national championship was 2020. I say that to say that the ability to learn and adapt, Saban did that for the NIL era. Now, he complained a shit ton about it publicly, but in my opinion, that's not a strike against him. A lot of coaches did that, and they still played the game. They played the transfer portal game. He learned, he adapted, he started optimizing recruiting. He started optimizing recruiting for the transfer portal. He still was talking to high school recruits, but it's a new game. It's a new game, and players are getting paid. They're getting paid way before. They're still getting paid, but like now they're like legally getting paid, and now it's more on the surface. And so you have to adjust, you have to learn, you have to adapt, you have to learn how to handle relationships, businesses, brands, boosters. What Alabama wants as a university, legal ramifications, the NCAA, you have to learn, the relationships shift and change. This is why I think Nick Saban would be able to quickly learn and be able to pick the winners and losers of tech. Yes. Nick Saban could easily learn and adapt. Now, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. He's 72 years old. He ain't going to read a bunch of articles on like GPT prompts and Amazon credits and, JavaScript and Python and, the next verticalization of AI and right? But like in some shape or fashion, he could morph to this. He could learn, he can adapt, and he's going to delegate people that can help him teach him faster than probably you can learn about it because it's Nick Saban. And I don't even know the guy. Sounds like I'm doing like a pay promotion for this dude. I'm really not. I have no ties to Alabama. I don't know if I even like him that much, but I respect the hell out of him. Because Nick Saban can learn and adapt. You know why? That's everyone's job here in Silicon Valley on the investing side. Even the founder side. It's not everyone. There's no everybody. It's your job to learn and adapt here because the tech landscape is ever changing, man. Especially now. The rapid adoption of this new wave of technology. Like every week, it feels like you're behind if you're not reading up on what's been launched, shipped, done, thinking about doing rounds, investment, news, PR. Nick Saban's ability to learn and adapt, I think he has that in him. And so I think Nick Saban could build a Silicon Valley empire tomorrow if he wanted to. He's a walking, sleeping giant. And I think Nick Saban is an example of athletes, and in this case, coaches, that when they do enough work to build that credibility and reputation in their sport, if they brought that same energy to a place like the Bay Area and started a fund, they would be right in the damn mix. Right in the mix. Right in the mix. Sequoia, Andreessen, Bessemer, watch out. If athletes start If athletes with a certain level of baseline prominence and willingness to learn and low ego come into this world, the way people raise money is going to change forever. It's going to change because athletes and the people around sports are going to become some of the most influential investors in companies regardless of the industry. And so Nick Saban is the ploy. He's the example. Nick, if you're watching this, you don't even have to move here. I'm just saying, there's some shit on the table here on a platter waiting for you. I don't know if you'll take it. You might do TV. But if you do, you have a chance to rewrite history here. You thought you were just going to rewrite history in football. You still got some years left, sir. Salute. And that's a wrap, fellas. Thank you for tuning in. Please like and subscribe to the pod. We'll do these every Monday and Thursday. I might do more of these solos. Let me know in the comments if you like the little solo vibe. We're going to keep bringing the heat, man. Some of the athletes we're bringing on are incredible. Athletes and Assets, the place where I bring on your favorite athletes to chat about a business topic. I'm your host, Noah Lack, and today was a little solo pod because I needed it. I needed to get it out of my system. Thank you.